It started with a blink, then a sniff, then a quick grunt. At first, everyone thought it was just a funny little phase. But by the time 10-year-old Marcus was being sent to the principal's office for the third time in a week, his mother knew something deeper was going on. This is the story of Marcus. But it could be the story of any child, teen, or adult living with Tourette syndrome, a condition that's often misunderstood, mislabeled, and painfully judged. And yet, what if I told you that behind those involuntary sounds and movements is a mind filled with creativity, resilience, and unbelievable strength? Let's walk through what it really means to live with Tourette syndrome. So what is Tourette syndrome? Marcus was bright, curious. He loved puzzles and anything to do with science. But in third grade, he started blinking excessively. Then he began making little throat-clearing noises. His teachers thought he was being disruptive. Some even accused him of seeking attention. What no one realized at the time was that Marcus was experiencing his first tics, the hallmark signs of Tourette syndrome. Tourette syndrome is a neurological condition that typically begins in childhood. It's characterized by motor tics like blinking, grimacing, or shoulder shrugging, and vocal tics like humming, sniffing, or repeating words. Most people with Tourette syndrome develop symptoms between the ages of 5 and 10. It's not caused by bad parenting. It's not a behavioral problem. And it definitely isn't a joke. What does a diagnosis of Tourette syndrome look like? It took over a year before Marcus received a diagnosis. His mom saw a pattern and pushed for an evaluation with a neurologist. After a detailed history and ruling out other causes, he was officially diagnosed with Tourette syndrome. While getting a diagnosis offered some relief, it also brought fear. Would this define and put a label on him? Would others treat him differently? These are common worries for families. Tourette's doesn't affect intelligence, but it can affect learning, especially when tics are frequent or when they're accompanied by attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, obsessive-compulsive disorder, or anxiety, which often co-occur. Still, one of the hardest things about Tourette isn't the tics themselves. It's the judgment. Kids with tics are often bullied, punished for behaviors they can't control, or isolated socially. Adults with Tourette may struggle in workplaces or public spaces where their tics draw stares or criticism. Marcus's school experience changed the day a psychologist visited his classroom. She explained that Marcus had a condition that made his body do things he didn't choose, just like a hiccup or a sneeze. When his classmates understood this, the teasing stopped. Some even became his biggest allies. Awareness makes a difference. It doesn't erase the condition, but it removes the stigma. And for Marcus, that made school bearable again. Overcoming stigma isn't easy, but Marcus found ways to rise above it. He realized that understanding and support were crucial. He joined a local support group where he met others who shared similar experiences. This community became a lifeline, offering empathy, advice, and friendship. They laughed together, shared coping strategies, and celebrated each other's victories. Marcus also joined an online support group for teens with Tourette. It became a safe space to laugh, vent, and share tips, like how to deal with stares in public or how to talk about tics during a job interview. Now 17, Marcus speaks at middle schools about what it's like to live with Tourette syndrome. He shares how his tics once made him feel like an outsider, but now they're just one part of who he is. He talks about famous people with Tourette's, like Billie Eilish and Louis Capaldi, actors like Dan Aykroyd, and athletes like Tim Howard to break stereotypes. He shows that tics don't stop success. What stops people is the shame we build around them. And slowly, with every story told, stigma fades. Support for anyone on this journey. If you or a loved one has Tourette syndrome, you're not alone. Here are practical supports. CBIT therapy. Ask your doctor for a referral to a specialist in comprehensive behavioral intervention for tics. Support groups. Join the Tourette Association of America for access to national and local support. Education resources. Schools can provide IEPs to accommodate students with tics. Online communities. Check out Tourette's or Facebook groups for peer support. Parent training. Parents can learn techniques to reduce stress and support their child without reinforcing tics. Marcus still has tics. Some days they're barely noticeable. Other days they're louder. But he no longer hides. Because living with Tourette syndrome isn't about getting rid of the tics. It's about embracing the full, complex, incredible person behind them. And just like Marcus, every person with Tourette's has a story worth hearing. Let's start listening. If you found this video helpful, please be sure to give it a like and check out our other mental health education videos.